Hi, boys and girls. Happy Tuesday. This is the TCR from last week, our first TCR. Your annotation should look like mine. Okay, what we did here is we found some cause and effect signal words, such as so, caused, as a result. Those ones all should have been highlighted. Okay, we underlined, we circled the cause and we boxed the effect in this story. We underlined key details in election day. So you should have annotated the test. Parents, they should have annotated the test like mine since we did this together. Okay, and then when we went over It Is My Right, we highlighted sequence words like in 1917 and before 1920. We underlined key details here that were important, and we used the key details in order to write the summary. So once again, we did the same thing here in Rosa Parks. We underlined the key details. We used the key details in order to make the summary. We also did it for Martin Luther King Jr. We highlighted the sequence words that you can see that are highlighted, and we underlined the key details, and we wrote a summary. Okay, and that goes on for the rest of that. So that's what their Government for the People, TCR, should look like. That will be returned in next Thursday's deployment bag. The new TCR that we are working on, that we just began today, is Ways Characters Shape Stories. The essential question that we are working with is, how do our actions influence our lives? So what we do, how does that influence our lives? What we started today in our TCR was 2 fables. And we talked about attributes of fables, which I'll go over in a moment. Here, just like we did in the other TCR, we underlined the key details that were important. From those key details, we went ahead and wrote a summary. So The Fox and the Crow is another fable that we annotated. We underlined the key details and added some information in the margin. We circled vocabulary words that were hard to understand, and we gave them some synonyms. And then we did an oral summary for this one, reading the key details and putting sequence words in our oral summary, since we ran out of space there. So I'm going to give you a really nice anchor chart that you can refer to. And this is, let me see if I can zoom out. Okay, I can't really zoom out, so I'll just start here. Since we only started with the fable, the first one here, we talked about the purpose, the main characters, and the common themes. So the purpose of a fable is to teach a moral or a lesson. Sometimes they're directly stated in some fables, like The Peasant and the Apple Tree. At the bottom, there is the moral or the lesson that's stated. And some, like The Fox and the Crow, it's not stated. They have to infer it. I mean, to make a really good guess based on what it was about. Main characters in a fable often include talking animals. So there were talking animals in both of our stories this morning. Okay, and then the common themes in fables is at least one character has a flaw or a problem, and one character learns something from another character. So that's what we did today. We'll be learning about myths, and I'm going to go ahead and go over these now. The purpose of a myth is different from a fable because it explains how the world and its creatures came to be. And the characters aren't always talking animals. They include gods, goddesses, heroes, or creatures with supernatural powers. And the themes with myths is that the characters often perform heroic tasks or they go on quests. That's different from a fable. They're not learning from one another. They're performing heroic things or going on quests. The last genre that we're going to be working with in this TCR is folk tales. So folk tales are a little bit different because they're old stories handed down through the generations, and there can be more than one version. And folk tales, the main characters are people and animals. They don't not necessarily talk, as in fables. Fables are the talking animal ones. And then the themes in folk tales, the characters often have a flaw or a problem. Okay, and There's subgenres of folk tales. So underneath folk tales, you can break folk tales down into fairy tales, such as Cinderella, and legends. Okay, so fairy tales and legends are part of the folk tale. Okay, so there's our anchor chart that we can refer to throughout this unit to help clarify the differences between the fables, the myths, and the folk tales.